Reverend Sir, Your Excellencies from the Embassy of India, the Embassy of Singapore, the Embassy of Thailand, and our ambassador from Sri Lanka, and my Dhamma friends. You know, this is a celebration that we celebrate, which we call Vesak, is the, you could say, the main celebration for Buddhists all over the world. I have been celebrating this Vesak celebration in the Buddhistische Haus for the 12th year. I am very happy to do this. And I will ask the question, normally when we have a birthday, we don't celebrate 2555 years that we are born. But this is a birthday, has a unique character. The Buddha was born on the same day. He became Buddha in India, in Buddha Gaya, on the same day, and he died on the same day. When three things happen, we call it a hat-trick in our language. Three things at the same time of one person. Now this you could take it as a coincidence, but there's very much more what the son of India, which is the greatest, the Buddha, Gautama Buddha, gave not only to India or to Asia, to all over the world. And there I would like to share my ideas based on certain facts, which is not a theory or opinion or a view. That's very important to know that this is not a theory, it's not an opinion or a view. This house came to birth by a person named Dr. Paul Dahlke, and he's a German. He built this house from 1924 up to 1928. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 1928. He was born in 1865. He was pretty young to die. But then after his death, his sister inherited this premises, and my uncle came to visit Germany in 1952, not on Buddhist thing, but as a businessman. And anybody visiting Germany, he comes and says, well, let me have a look at Berlin. So when he came to Berlin, he went through Frohnau and he saw this house like a ship without a captain. He stopped the car, came out, looked at it, and he did his normal business, and he wrote to my father, I want to purchase. So as the brother and two partners in the same business wouldn't like another partner diverting out of the business. But anyway, we decided to purchase this. So after the purchasing of these premises, a German Dharmaduta Society was made in Sri Lanka, and we collected money from the people, well-known, very rich people, and bought the other parts of Frohnau, and then Buddhistische Haus came to birth. And in 1957, the Buddhist monks repeatedly come and go here. Some monks stayed for about 15 years, some monks 4 years, and now our monk Santarak is 2 years here almost and learning German pretty enough quickly. But this is all the house and Paul Dahlke and my uncle. In 1960, my uncle saw there's a lack of good monks. There are monks, but really good monks. So he decided to make a forest hermitage, which is called today Mitrigala. you see, when you have universities in the world, you have many sorts of universities, but you get Harvard, Pennsylvania, or Oxford, or Cambridge, or Heidelberg, which are very good universities. So, because of my uncle being able to make this Mitrigala, the Mitrigala produced very good monks who understand the Dhamma. Now, you have to make a difference between the Dhamma and Buddhism. The Dhamma is what the Buddha taught. Now, let me tell you something about this great Gautama Buddha, what is Dhamma and what it can do for all of us. We celebrate 2555 years, and the question is, what is Dhamma? Now, Dhamma, the Buddha himself said, Sabba Papa Sakarnangas in Pali, Sabba Papa Sakarnang, Kusalasa Upasampata, Sachitta Pariyo Dhamanang, Etam Buddha Sasana. Never to do harm to other people, do wholesome action, having an understanding mind of what is the understanding mind. I will make it very simple so that you can, even children can understand. Imagine some person hit or scold somebody and we call him, he's a bad man. Some person nurses somebody and we call him a good man. Now this is very simple to see, right? Now here the man who is hitting and scolding, the man who is nursing and doing good things, they have all one thing in common, that is called body and mind, which is we call Nama Rupa. And in this body and mind, good things and bad things happen. And the whole Buddha's doctrine is based on this, how to remove, which we call bad, which is greed, hatred and delusion. You remove it. With what do you remove it? Then you cultivate good things. What is good? Loving kindness, compassion, empathy and equanimity. To have a knowledge of how things happen. Now, in order to do this, if you have something dirty, you have to put it in the washing machine and clean it. So, the cleaning process is also very simple. It's really simple. But we have to do it. And what is this cleaning process? You call it in Pali Sati. Sati means mindfulness. For the mind to know how your body and your mind is working. So, with that instrument, it's not a belief. We don't believe in Buddha. We neither believe in us. If people say, oh, I don't believe anything, but I believe only about me. Why you want to believe about you if you know? When you don't know, you want to believe. So Buddha's doctrine is coming to know how the body and the mind is functioning. Now, body and the mind functioning, you remove only three things, greed, hatred and delusion. Giya Hasun for Blendung in German or Loba Dosa Moho in Pali. To remove this, you don't believe and remove it. You come to know the cause, how greed develops, cause how hatred develops, and dosa is delusion, right? And you remove it on your own. So this can go to any part of the world, regardless of the religion and regardless of the culture, and make people to good people, either mention. So that's all. So there's no, you see, many countries, right? In the world, if you look at history of mankind, you have about 10,000 years, and they have been always fighting. Fighting of what? Having different opinion and views. But in the Buddhist Dhamma, you don't give a place to opinion and a view. Vorstellung, Meinungen is taken away. You come to reality. And a universal reality is not a opinion or a view, which we call anicca. Everything is moving. The thing is, mind proceeds. All knowledge, but things, right? All knowledge. mind is the chief, and they are all mind-made. By the nirvana, which we call is the paradise, that is in the present moment, is not after 5 minutes or 10 minutes later or after birth. It happens here and now. When Siddhartha Gautama became Buddha, he was 35 or 36 years old. Never mind how correct I am there. But it can be removed here and then. In order to remove it, you don't make use of a belief, you make use of a knowledge or realistic, and in this doctrine, one of the most important ideas is everything is changing all the time. You see, you don't start collecting money if you have a till which has a hole. So when we understand that in our body and mind, everything is every time changing, our consciousness changes with it, then you have to say, well, it's not worthwhile. But though it's not worthwhile, you can't say Buddha did not have feelings. Feelings are there, but not ruling our emotions. So that is, you see, my father died about 8 years ago. But he was born, he got old, he got ill and died. The Buddha was born, he got old, he got ill and he died. Well, that will happen to us and to you. So that is all common to Buddha and all of us. Now what is the separate thing that the Buddha is talking about? Mental quietness and mental freedom. Freedom from all patterns of opinions and views. You see, wars cannot take place if there is no opinion and a view. Even a greed has to have an opinion and a view, say, I want to have it. Look at what happened in Germany. It's a very good example. Don't be offended. In 1618 up to 1648, a 30-year war took place. What is special about this is not the Christians against the Muslims, it is not Buddhists against the Christians or the Muslims, it is not Hindus against the Muslims. Why did this war took place? They believed in same Christ, they were the same people, they had the same God, they had two different opinions, one in Vatican and one Martin Luther, and they fought for 30 years. There were hardly any people in the world. Now this example, I want to present it to the schools in Reinickendorf. Every time the schools, your Reinickendorf, a lot of schools come here. So what is my message? To be a good man, if you want to be a Muslim, be a Muslim. If you want to be a Christian, be a Christian. In order to be a good man, what do we do? What do the Buddhists do? What the monk just now said it. We refrain from killing. We refrain from taking things that does not belong to us. We refrain from acting force on our relationship, also not sexually. Then not to lie and not to take alcohol and things like that. This is a common thing. It has nothing to do with religion. But it exists in body and mind. So because all things is going from the body and mind, and we want to talk about the service of the Buddha to activate in the present moment, so that every one of us will benefit. This is the message that the Buddha gave. Now, even the Buddha's message has been misunderstood and misinterpreted, because we are all very proud to be Buddhist or to be Sri Lankan or to be Indian or to be, But have you ever thought humbleness, the innocent of the present moment, humble, say the Unschuld der Gegenwart with Demut or with humbleness, to treat it. The profits are very much more. Conflicts will go away from us. Unfortunately, we have to realize, sometimes I used to ask myself, was a Buddha a politician? Then I had an answer saying yes and no. Because when kings wanted to fight another king, they went to the Buddha and asked, we want to hit the other country and occupy it. Is there a chance of winning that? So Buddha didn't say to this minister, go away, I am not a person who is in a... No, Buddha asked another monk called Ananda, does the king look after his people? And do the people like the king? So Ananda said, yes, the king is looking after the people and the people like the king. So what did Buddha looked to the other minister and said, you will never win this war. He never asked how many chariots you have, how many elephants you have, how many horses you have. See, look at the Vietnam War. America was a mighty country with aircraft carriers and all, but it lost in Vietnam. So it is the people's will for harmony, not division. Divide and rule is a very primitive way. Whoever practices it, whether we practice it or Europe practice it. What we want is unity on a basis of a understanding which is based on mindfulness. That Mr. Weeraratna was last year here when I spoke in German, is what is called in Pali Anya Manya Pachya, which is called interdependence. I will simplify it for you. Interdependence is if your liver is calling your heart and saying I am ill, and the heart says, well, I don't mind you being ill, and the lung intervenes and say, hey, heart, don't say that. If the liver dies, both of us will die in two hours later. Now this is the proper understanding that the politicians should have. You see, a lot of the school children come, their teachers also come. And I am trying to deal, it's about 5 years, we have at least 2 to 3 classes every week. But I want to now ask the Reinickensdorf to start in Reinickensdorf, because we belong to you. Look at this idea, how to be a good man, having the principles of which is called Pancha Sila. Sila means behavior patterns, yeah, and without religion and culture. So let them have their culture and their religion. Don't disturb it, because you become very sensitive. So my message is, I would like you as a member of the parliament, after we find out our impartiality, to introduce to all past first in this area to become a good man. So this was exactly the Buddha's message. And we, you see, when you think of a Buddha meditating, after 35 years, up to 8 years, I don't think there's any person in the world who spoke so much as the Buddha. He has, they say, 84,000 times he has been speaking, and we have books, all books spoken. But meditation is extremely important. To come to know your body and your mind on a passive consciousness, it cannot be done without meditation. But meditation cannot be done without sila. Sila means behavior patterns. Then sila cannot be done also without gaba or generosity. So generosity, we Buddhists think, oh, when I give things to other people, I will be born next year and after. But generosity builds bridges between two personalities. If you want, you give a small thing like a Coca-Cola or a cup of tea, and then you are already in contact. So human relationship is based on generosity. The first principle in what we do is Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Dana means generosity, Sila means behavior pattern, and then the other one is Bhavana, means how manifestation takes also meditation, to come to know how manifestation. Then that is the simple version. The little further version is Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Behavior, Samadhi is tranquility as well as a balanced approach towards things. Then Panya is wisdom. So all these things what we speak of Buddha's things is it cannot be regarded as a religion nor a culture. Now, every one of us cannot avoid culture because we have taken birth through a mother. So when you take birth through a mother, you have a mother language, mother eating habits, mother's dressing or clothes, then mother's religion, singing, dancing, which is all culture. But when you look at your body and your mind, it becomes universal. Because for you to live, and for me to live, for anybody to live, we have to breathe in and out. This is not mine, this air is not mine, so it's universal. The heat we have in our body is also universal, all that is changing. So that is the way you have to look at body and mind. And when you look at it, you can know it is not me, it is I am a universal product. And then universal kindness is kindness that you share on a basis of interdependency. So because of internet, because of planes flying all over, the world has become small. Don't think that the 2,500-year-old Dhamma does not fit here. Because the Dhamma is being, you understand, ekagato mato, the one and only way to understand Dhamma is called Satipatthana, which is saying body awareness, feeling awareness, then Chitta means mind awareness and mental formation awareness. This is a very common thing to all parts of the world. So all our conflicts can be minimized if we ever can look after ourselves. Looking after myself, it allows us to see that we cannot afford to be ego. That's the good thing, some people say, oh, the Buddhists they are egoistic because they have a lot of ego because they look after yourself. That is right in the very beginning. But when you look at yourself, air is coming in and coming out. What you breathe in, I have to breathe in whether I like it or not. Then it is not your common property, now my common property they are. It belongs to the universe. Then what is the next thing? What we have? We have water. It is also circling. Then we have the next thing, heat, right? Then we have the earth element, which is we can touch. All these four elements is I am compound with, you are compound with, also the Buddha compounded. So this is what is called the universal. Now when you go to the mind itself, the mind is a little bit different. There things are not to be seen, but it can be seen. If I move my body, the mind takes the body as an instrument. So this is the knowledge that brings us together, that I scratch your back and you scratch my back, is also called in Pali Anyamanya Pachya. And this is the Buddhist Dhamma works with facts, eliminating opinion and view. So it is my great pleasure that I have spoken to you. I think now there are 4 people who will speak. That is the ambassador, Sri Lanka ambassador, and the resident monk, and then Thorsten, who has finished the meditation retreat for the last 7 days. I thank you all for listening to me. Thank you.